Now, the next thing is your website. Once you have your domain name up, you want to get your website going. Now, the difference between a domain name and a website is, all right, let's talk about, I'm going to put this in a perspective or in a way that everyone would be able to understand it. Now, when you have your home, there's three components to your home, right? You have the land that your home sits on, and that would be your hosting. And hosting I haven't spoken about yet, but that would be your hosting. That's where your website sits on. That's the space, digital land that your website sits on. The next thing that you have that's part of your home is the actual house itself, right? All right, so that would be your website. All right, and in digital terms, your website would be your actual house. And then the next thing that you have is you have your actual physical address. My physical address is 352 Beth Lane. Okay, now in digital terms, your physical address would be your domain name, www.tycohen.com. All right, so you have hosting, which is your land, and that's what your website actually sits on. That's the digital land that your website sits on. The next thing you have is the actual property, and that's your website. Okay. Then you have the actual address, and that in tangible, physical, real life terms, it would be my street address, 352 Beth Lane. In digital terms, it would be your domain name, your URL. That's another way of saying it. My website address. And that would be www.tycohen or www.johnnysmith or whatever it is that your name is, www.annmartin. And I know we have you on the call, so I'm going to use you as an example. All right, so those. Now, you want to make sure, like I said, you want to make sure that you get as many domain names as possible that, relates to your business, you as the artist, or your company. And when you register these domain names, try to get .coms if possible. .coms are kind of hard to come by nowadays. When I say .com, I mean tycohen.com. All right, not tycohen.net. All right, avoid wrong advice. There's a lot of people out there who will tell you, "Oh, .net is good. It's great. You can still go and get a .net," but that's like having a 1-800 number versus a 1-877 number. 1-800 numbers are totally identifiable as being something that's toll-free. And there are a lot of people who recognize a 1-877 number as being toll-free, but again, majority rules. The majority of the people recognize a 1-800 number as being totally toll-free, at least here in the U.S. And I think in UK it runs that way as well, or maybe Canada. We just got a few Canadian and UK numbers. So that's how I just familiarize myself with that stuff. All right, so you don't want to go after .nets unless it's the last resort. You don't want to get johnnysmith.net. You want it to be johnnysmith.com, okay? Some of the resources you can go to, like I said, 101.com, site builders, you can go to Yahoo. They have a great site building service. You can just go to Google or go to yahoo.com and type in site builder or website builder. Homestead.com, that's an old one. They've been around for a long time, but they're pretty reliable. I know a few people who use them, people who are just new to having their websites built, right? And on top of that, to make it easier for you guys who don't have a website yet, who don't have a blog, and who are just relying on MySpace, which is a huge mistake, and I'll explain why in just a little bit. On top of that, what I'm going to be doing is, over the last 6 or 7 months, I've been working on a huge music business community site. All right, we put in about $8,000 or $9,000 into this thing so far, and with that, I'm going to be giving away free websites, free blogs. So everyone that's on this call, once that community site is done, and we anticipate it being done within the next 2 weeks, you'll be able to actually join our community site and go in and sign up for your own web page, your own blog. And with these web pages and blogs, you'll be able to upload your videos, your YouTube videos, your home videos, your videos of you performing on stage, your concert footage, whatever it is that you have. Videos of you goofing around, creating your own reality show. You'll be able to upload that stuff. You'll be able to upload your songs and actually stream them from the website. And again, this is all free. It's just a way a way for me to give back to you guys and to give back to the music community and to get people on the right track. Okay, you'll be able to upload pictures and photos and entire photo albums, of your band and your company and your family and things like that. So keep a lookout for that, and you should see an email from me in about 2 weeks. Now, if you're looking for a website that's really high powered, you can also call my buddy Greg Caesar. He was just on the call. He's not cheap, I gotta warn you, but he does do fantastic work. All right. Actually, he's known as the web designer. His company is actually the web design company for the stars. All right, the web design company for the stars. So that in itself tells you about the quality of the work that he provides. And his number is 203. I hope he doesn't get pissed with me giving his number out. But if anyone's looking for a top-notch website, give Greg a call. His number is 203-676-7403. Tell him I sent you, and don't share that number with anyone else unless they mean business, because like I said, his sites are not cheap, but he gives you excellent quality. He's like the Tommy Hilfiger of website designers, all right? Now, one of the worst mistakes, like I said earlier, that you can make is just having your MySpace page and only relying on MySpace. That's one of the absolute critical mistakes that you can make, and I see thousands and thousands and thousands of people doing it on a regular basis. Thousands of musicians. Thousands of highly intelligent people who own labels and who own management companies. They're out there broadcasting their MySpace pages, promoting their MySpace pages to the masses. Promoting their MySpace pages on their CDs, on their and television interviews, on radio interviews, within concerts. And that's absolutely